Now, France just went through its hottest week ever recorded, viewers. Temperatures got so extreme that landmarks like the Eiffel Tower had to cut their hours. Music festivals were cancelled and people were told to stay indoors. Sadly, around 1,000 people, mostly older adults, lost their lives due to the heat. Power went out in over 100,000 homes and the streets of Paris were largely empty. And now, let's take a look at some of the visuals coming in from France, which give us a clearer picture of just how severe the situation has been on the ground. Let me just draw your attention, viewers, to the visuals on your screen. Shocking visuals from Europe show traffic lights literally melting in the blistering heat. The plastic housings have warped and drooped dramatically, with one signal still glowing red inside its deformed shell. This striking footage highlights the extreme temperatures gripping France, where the ongoing heat wave is pushing infrastructure to its limits. Another dramatic visual from France shows desperate shoppers crowding stores and rushing to grab air conditioners and fans as the heat wave hits hard. Shelves stand completely empty after the frantic rush. The footage captures the real pressure and chaos people are facing under the extreme temperatures. These dramatic scenes from France show chaotic crowds pushing and shoving in stores as people fight to buy air conditioners and fans during the extreme heat wave. Shoppers scramble and clash while grabbing cooling units off the shelves. These scenes from Paris show residents covering their windows with aluminium foil and reflective sheets to block out the intense heat. The temperature is soaring above 38 to 40 degrees Celsius. People are using this simple method to keep their homes cooler without air conditioning, highlighting everyday creativity and the real challenges of coping with France's extreme heat wave. Another visual, viewers, shows large crowds gathering in a public square under the blazing sun with powerful water mist spraying over them for relief. People stand and walk through the cooling spray as a way to beat the extreme heat, capturing how residents are seeking relief from the intense heat wave through simple ways. These scenes from Paris show packed stores and frantic shoppers desperately searching for fans and air conditioners as the heat wave intensifies. Shelves are left empty after the rush, with people crowding aisles and checkout areas. This compilation video, viewers, highlights the extreme effects of the heat wave through various clips. It shows melting roads, where asphalt softens, people and animals struggling in the heat, damaged vehicles and other signs of intense temperatures. The footage illustrates the widespread impact of the scorching conditions across affected regions. And joining me now is my colleague Atul Ranjan. Atul, this is absolutely shocking. In fact, the visual of the traffic lights melting, we have such extreme temperatures in India, but we haven't seen something like this. And people literally dying because of the heat. Very shocking. The weather is changing world over. What more can you tell us?
Well, yes, quite an unusual scenario that is unfolding in entire Europe and particularly France that we're witnessing. We have seen pictures of how, air conditioners are running out of, stores. We have seen schools, museums and all of several of the public institutions shutting down early or restricting their hours, activity. All of that is being done to cope with the heat, that immense heat that has really troubled people across the continent. Now, what we're learning from French health agency is that about 1,000 more, people have lost their lives this season, primarily due to heat. The impact of heat has, and particularly impacted the senior citizens, the elders. The most, about 75% of those 1,000 people are said to be senior citizens who have not been able to cope with the extreme heat that we are seeing. Now, what we're learning from our French health agency as well is that, particularly the French weather authorities, is that, the heat and the intensity that we're seeing and the temperatures soaring has now gradually, been moving towards the eastern regions of the European continent, which means that apart from some of the northeastern regions of the France, for the next 7 days. Obviously, they are going to continue witnessing some of the heat wave spells. But after a spell of 10 days is when we are expecting France to, slightly cool down comparatively, and that is when the French citizens would likely be getting some relief from the extreme heat that they are seeing right now. Obviously, this is quite an unusual public scenario. We have seen that is unfolding there. We have seen people rushing to stores to buy AC fans to just to cool themselves. Now, what is unusual also is the fact that since the European nations and the whole of the continent is quite cool, given the fact and given due to that fact, all the shelters, the homes that that are built in European nations are also some are in a way meant to trap heat. So even people who are indoors are not really getting sort of any relief from heat, even if they sort of escape from the heat that is outside. The whole of the Europe is currently right now like an open furnace where people are reeling under extreme temperatures.
All right, Atul, thanks for joining me with those details. And with that, viewers, we're slipping into a short commercial break, but stay with us because there's a lot more coming up on